Engines are rumbling from all of our runners behind me in the commentary box. Larry Price starts on pole position with Harris Roberts alongside. Thomas Potter and James Fabricius are on the second row with Jack Collinson and Amy Peacock on row number 3. Lewis Hall starts in 7th place with Stanley Clark alongside Isabella Stansmore-Wilson and Harris Alley complete the top 10 with Rio Ward-Alley and Freddie Housego on row number 6. 13th will be Max Williams alongside Max Greatrex with Theo Bradshaw and Jensen White on row number 8. Samuel Yeadon and Josh Sullivan share row number 9 with Cameron Tipping and Tom Drake on row 10. Alex Lynn and Harry Samuel row 11. Ayrton Ryan, Ellis Dealey on row number 12. Jos Huschke and Alfie Forrester, Max Housego and Jacob Cartledge complete your runners. All of those drivers from 18th down at some point today have had a retirement from one of the heats, so haven't picked up all their allocated points from the early phases of the race. So a number of those drivers potentially out of position. But from pole position here, Larry Price, who took that commanding victory in heat number 2. He's got alongside him Harris Roberts, the driver that thus far this season has not been beaten in a final at the Cadet and Junior Kart Championships. Our final runners then making their way into position as they are. We got this. Just having a quick look. Not sure if we had a gap in the grid, but we don't. Jos Huschke's there. He was just hiding behind a man with an umbrella, and I couldn't see him. Everybody is in position though here for the final race of the day. Green flag is in hand for the start line marshal. Everybody making their way towards the back. The grid is clear. And the flag is in the hand of the start line marshal. Engine notes rise from our Honda Cadets as they hold the throttle and on the brake. The brakes are off, we're away and racing. It's a good start from Harris Roberts from the second row, but I don't think he's going to have enough to get past our pole sitter, and it looks like Fabricius has made a good start as well. Let's see when they come through. He has, but Thomas Potter from the second row is also up in front of Harris Roberts, so from second place, he's going to drop down into 4th as everybody else makes their way down towards the Surtees complex, and Roberts is going to try and get a good run as everybody makes their way through the first complex of corners. Looks like it's been a very clean opening lap. There we see Forrester and Dealey side by side heading down towards Chandler's at the bottom of the track. Larry Price leads from Thomas Potter with Harris Roberts in 3rd place. In front now of James Fabricius and Amy Peacock. Jack Collinson behind with Stanley Clark in the 51 as Harris Alley tries to come down the inside of Lewis Hall. We've got drivers still 2 and 3 wide. We've got drivers off down there at Raymond's. That's Ellis Dealey facing the wrong way. Looks like Alex Lynn potentially another one. So we've got a number of drivers facing the wrong way down there at the bottom end of the track. We'll try and pick up who some of those are, but there's been some big drivers taking advantage. Tom Drake makes up 6 places. Jacob Cartledge makes up 8 as well. A couple of drivers, though, dropping a number of places as they come over the line. We'll call them in a few moments the next time they come round to see where everybody is. So the leaders make their way through. Still in the first 2 minutes of this race. Larry Price down the back straight with Thomas Potter, and then Harris Roberts as Harris Alley now makes the same move he tried on Lewis Hall on the previous lap. This time, though, he gets it stopped, and Isabella Stansmore-Wilson could well get alongside as well as they head towards the hook. Larry Price, though, leading the way from Thomas Potter. Harris Roberts in 3rd place with James Fabricius. There is Max Housego, I think, and he could be rolling off into retirement down the back straight. No, he's just going very, very slowly. It looks like he's had a problem and is still running quite slowly. I don't know whether that kart seems to be misfiring a little bit, but just didn't seem to get any drive. Harris Roberts tries to get to the inside of Thomas Potter. Potter runs all the way around the outside, and is that going to balk the entrance? It is for Harris Roberts. He's going to lose 1 place to Fabricius, 2 places to Amy Peacock, and Harris Roberts loses 2 and drops down into 5th place. The top 7, nose to tail. Collinson in front of Stanley Clark. Then there's a gap back to Harris Alley, being pushed along by Lewis Hall and Isabella Stansmore-Wilson. That's your top 10 as they come over the line. No real changes with the exception of the Fabricius and Peacock movements earlier on. Then it's Max Greatrex in 11th. Bradshaw, Ward-Alley, Sullivan, Williams. Drake loses 2 places on that lap, down to 16th. We're tipping. That's Houseigo's kart that was going very slowly on the previous lap. He's moved off into retirement, the kart being placed safely onto the tyre barrier. The top 10 then all covered in one screenshot there as they come through. Then there's a big gap back to Max Gray Trex and Theo Bradshaw. And they're all still running fairly nose to tail. The two of them onto the back straight they go though. Larry Price had 4 tenths on the previous lap, but that one's been reeled in, and Thomas Potter comes down the inside, as does Fabricius. Peacock as well might take advantage. The whole train down the inside, and nowhere for Larry Price to come back in. He slots into 3rd in front of Peacock. They're all battling. Harris Ali sets the fastest lap of the race with a 50.7. Now he's starting to move clear of Lewis Hall. 6 minutes remaining. There's now Harris Roberts to the inside of Amy Peacock down there and gets through at McWerthers, so he's up now into 4th place. There could be another change for the lead though. Fabricius down the inside of Potter, and Larry Price as well bounces over the curb, and Thomas Potter is off into the tyres, and he's not going anywhere because that car facing the rocks, facing into the tyres. Peacock's off as well. The two of them are off from 4th and 5th place, have dropped away. That's going to leave Fabricius in the lead as they're side by side in the background, coming down the straight at Raymond's again. The top 7 or 8 are through cleanly, as then there's more contact in the background as Sullivan runs all the way around the outside. We've got a red flag here at the Cadet Kart Championship. Not sure if that's to do with the Potter and Peacock incident on the outside of Chandler's, or whether we've got something else somewhere else. All of our runners then are round. The green flag is down, and they should have a single file lap behind your race leader, I believe, but looks like we are actually going racing straight away from a standing start in a single file, which is strange, but if we are going racing, we're going racing. Fabricius then appears to be leading the way from Larry Price, who is immediately overtaken down the inside by Harris Roberts, with Larry Price then in 3rd place now. Behind them we've got Jack Collinson in front of Stanley Clark. Half race distance in this Honda Cadet final at the end of the day. Down the back straight they go, with Fabricius leading the way. So they all come to the inside. Rio Warderley defending off the rest of the field as they make their way through an overstart finish. Is there anything Fabricius can do to hold off Harris Roberts and Larry Price? Jack Collinson, Stanley Clark, Harris Ali, Lewis Hall, Max Gray Trex, Isabella Stansmore Wilson and Theo Bradshaw, as Harris Roberts gets to the inside of Fabricius and Larry Price is to the inside as well. And now Fabricius gets bounced over the curbs. And that's going to drop him down into 3rd place. Collinson in 4th, in front of Stanley Clark and Harris Ali. Big gap then in the background between, as it looks like, Isabella Stansmore Wilson, Theo Bradshaw all the way back. Harris Ali gets alongside Stanley Clark. The rest of the field in the background come over the line still. Ward Ali in 11th place, Sullivan in 12th, Williams, Tipping, White, Samuel, Dealey, Drake, Ayrton Wright and Alfie Forrester in 20th place in front of Sam Yeed and Alex Lynn. Then we've got Potter, Peacock, Cartledge, Houseigo and Hushka all out of the race for varying reasons in the first half of this Honda Cadet final. Down the back straight with 3 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. In the background you can still see train of carts all going side by side as they head down towards Raymond's, and Wardley goes slightly wide there. Sullivan tries to get a run on the inside as we cut back to our leaders, and it's now Harris Roberts leading the way from Larry Price, as it has been since the start of the second lap on this resumption. Roberts, Price and Fabricius then the top three. In front of Jack Collinson, Harris Ali and Stanley Clark. Down the hanger straight, look over the shoulder from Harris Roberts. Fabricius not close enough to move out of the slipstream on Larry Price. In the background though, now we see Sullivan down the inside of Rio, Wardley and Cameron tipping as well. Wardley though gets the cut back on Sullivan as they all make their way through and head back up towards the Hook complex of corners. 1 minute and 58 seconds remaining. Top three, still nose to tail. There's a gap then back to Jack Collinson in fourth, with Harris Ali, Stanley Clark, Max Gray-Trex, Lewis Hall, Isabella Stansmore-Wilson and Theo Bradshaw. The top 10 as Larry Price takes a huge chunk of curb. That could allow Fabricius to get alongside. Fabricius is asking for Collinson to come to the inside and push him along, but he's going to get the move done by himself. Collinson then's going to take advantage, I think, of Larry Price. Price comes back across the front and closes the door, so he's still in third place. Collinson, then it's Harris Ali and Stanley Clark. With 1 minute and 5 seconds remaining. Harris Roberts on his way potentially to a sixth final in 6 race meetings here in Honda Cadet at the Cadet Kart Championship. Make their way onto the hanger straight, and he does have a comfortable gap now to Fabricius, who needs to be pushed along by Larry Price to try and close up, and they can all try and make a thing. But then as you see out of the window, the top 10 down to Theo Bradshaw. Then there's a huge gap back to 11th place and the rest of the field as well, as they're making their way around the bottom end of the circuit down towards Raymond's hairpin. This will be the penultimate lap as the time begins to count down towards 0. Harris Roberts leads from James Fabricius and Larry Price. That's going to be your top 3 with Jack Collinson and Harris Ali. As it stands, your top 5. Hanger straight then for the penultimate time. You can still see the top 10, all of them still in the same camera shot as the 6 carts battle for the 5 places on the cadet podium, as we offer 5 trophies in the cadet class. Last lap then for Harris Roberts, leads the way from Fabricius, although goes very, very wide, and Fabricius almost gets alongside. Can he take advantage of that further down the lap as he has a look over his shoulder at Larry Price? I imagine Harris Roberts will go incredibly defensive on the hanger straight on the final lap as they make the run down now towards Thing, and he's already defensive into the Dell, into the right-hander at Diggers. Huge chunk of curb from Harris Roberts. Will Larry Price push James Fabricius along, and Fabricius moves to the inside. Roberts as well goes to the inside. And then a late dive by Fabricius. Can he get it stopped? Price is through. There's contact between Price and Harris Roberts. Roberts is off into the wall. Fabricius is going to take victory from Harris Ali, Jack Collinson, Stanley Clark and Max Gray-Trex. Your top 5 with Lewis Hall, Larry Price, Isabella Stansmore-Wilson, Theo Bradshaw, Rio Wardley, Joshua Sullivan, Jensen White, Cameron Tipping, Harry Samuel, Tom Drake, Max Williams, Ayrton Rye, Samuel Yeadon and Ellis Dealey and Alfie Forrester completing your top 20. So for the first time in the Cadet Kart Championship in 2022, we have a new race winner, and it is that of James Fabricius, who was down the inside into the final corner before then there was contact between Larry Price and Harris Roberts. Roberts is just getting some attention from the medical team here at Llandow as our winners make their way back into the pit lane. So they'll race winners and the rest of your Honda Cadet field making your way in to the pit lane. And they'll be down there in the holding area as we bring this round number 6 of the Cadet Kart Championship to a close. It is unfortunately time for us to bring this one to an end here at Llandow. Thank you for everybody that's joined us. Thank you to the marshals that have worked tirelessly in the heat, as have our camera operatives as well, and the medical team that have been called upon a number of times since the lunch break here at Llandow. We hope you've enjoyed the racing when we've been out on track, and we hope to see you again in a few weeks' time at the Cadet and Junior Kart Championships. The first weekend of September is when we're back for round number 7, and hopefully we can crown some champions at the penultimate round at Hooton Park. Until then, I've been David Sullivan. Thank you very much for joining us on the Alpha Live channel, and we look forward to seeing you once again in the near future.